Disturbing things found by TikTokers. In this 2021 TikTok video, the TikToker Chits McGee is explaining on camera that for some days, he has heard some weird noises coming from his bathroom.
So I've been hearing some strange noises coming from this bathroom.
For this reason, he decides to set up a camera in front of the bathroom in order to record whatever is going on. At the beginning of the clip, a person who seems to be a boy can be seen walking through the reflection of the mirror, but what's worse is yet to come. Through the rectangular opening of the door, a horrifying human shape can be seen peeping slightly from the side and then moving back, not to be seen again. Disturbing deleted scenes from kids' movies that were luckily cut. A deleted scene from the 1940 Disney classic Pinocchio would have reportedly shown Geppetto and Figaro starving to death inside the stomach of the whale and having a brief moment where they consider actually eating their goldfish friend, in a very disturbing scene to watch.
Imagine eating Cleo. Yes.
Disturbing facts that will ruin your day, Part 26. In 2014, one neighbor in Arizona was terrorized for several months by a group of chihuahuas that reportedly scared people on the streets, pooed everywhere, and wreaked chaos. This man was asking his girlfriend to marry him with an underwater letter, but tragically, he drowned shortly after. The way Tom runs is pretty realistic if compared with a real cat. What happens if an anaconda swallows you? Before an anaconda swallows your body, it would kill you first by wrapping its body all around you, crushing you to death. In the anaconda's mouth you will find a lot of saliva that will be used to slide you down the gullet. Once in the stomach, the anaconda's powerful acids will dissolve your skin and, eventually, your bones. Disturbing moments caught on live TV. In this 2021 live footage, a news reporter is doing a live crossover for her news channel about the Greenridge Cemetery, a place that is believed to be haunted and full of stories of murder and mishap. Everything seems to proceed smoothly when suddenly, while the reporter explains some interesting insight about the cemetery, a blurry transparent figure is spotted behind her, moving from left to right.
Lots of carjackings go on in gas stations. One may assume that this is a vulnerable moment for the car owner who must step out of the car to fill the tank, and the criminals lie in wait for such moments. In this woman's case, she just finished filling her tank when she noticed the man making his way up to her. Suspecting something, she quickly moves towards the driver's side, but the thief must have threatened her with a weapon because she soon became mellow, standing aside without reacting. The man simply got into the car and drove off before the woman became animated again, running frantically for help. Hopefully she gets to recover her car.
Disturbing moments caught on Twitch live stream. This streamer is going about her normal day, playing with her cat on stream, drinking, and chatting with her followers. Suddenly, she hears a few sirens go off outside, realizing it was her house they were surrounding.
Oh yeah, Dallas life. Listen to that shit. Oh shit. Guys, I don't know what's going on.
The footage cuts as she runs to the door, and as it turns out, she's been swatted. This is an unfortunate trend of internet pranking. The viewers obtain the streamer's personal address and information, only to report them for a fake emergency via 911, causing a SWAT team to be dispatched to their location. Disturbing things caught in the forest. In this 2021 video, a group of friends is rowing a small boat at night when they discover they're not alone on the river. In fact, while floating in still waters, one of the guys reaches his hand into the river but quickly snatches it back as he feels something grabbing him. Scared, the crew directs the camera toward the water a few feet away, looking for the assailant, but as the guys keep observing the water, something terrifying emerges from the darkness.
Bryant dropped his guard. He thought they'd stopped recording.
On the bus stories. I don't find it very funny statement at all, mate, to be quite honest. Shouldn't put that on recording. I'm still recording this present stage, so that is on recording.
Disturbing things found by YouTubers. In this 2017 YouTube video, this YouTuber is making a vlog, showing his subscribers his new home. Suddenly, while showing his sister's room on camera, he notices something strange right at the entrance. Embedded in the wall, the YouTuber finds what at first glance appears to be a hidden closet. Hesitant, the YouTuber decides to open the closet, which however soon reveals itself as a door leading to a secret room in the house. Frightened, the YouTuber sheds light through the door, and once inside, he finds a cramped room with extremely small furniture, like a tiny table and candles. Disturbing things caught by drones. In this 2020 drone footage, a man is piloting his drone down a supposedly hunted road during the daytime, hoping to attract the attention of whatever's out there. Suddenly, a mysterious clown comes out of nowhere walking down the road, and tries to hit the drone with a rock. At this point, the drone flies out of range and the clown takes off hiding in the bushes. After a while, the clown steps out for an ambush and tries to throw another rock at the drone, before vanishing one last time into the bushes. Disturbing moments caught on live TV. In this 2017 live footage, Wendy Williams is hosting a Halloween edition of her daytime talk show dressed up as the Statue of Liberty. Suddenly, while announcing an upcoming segment, Williams stopped mid-sentence, her eyes suddenly opened wide and her whole body wobbling violently, before abruptly collapsing on the floor. While viewers initially thought the incident was a Halloween trick, Williams returned after a commercial break to assure them it was not.
That was not a stunt. I'm overheated in my costume and I did pass out.
Disturbing footage of people being followed home. In February of this year, Ali Porath had just arrived home with her 2 children. Her doorbell camera recorded her and her children going inside, closing the door, and immediately being followed by a mysterious man. The man knocked on the door, and even tried the doorknob, but Ali did not answer. He stayed on their doorstep for a long time. Ali felt that he was wanting her to open the door, so that he could push himself inside. Finally the man leaves the doorstep, but her security camera captures him pacing outside the front of her house. Ali's husband was more than an hour away, so she called the police. By the time the police arrived, the man had mysteriously disappeared. Disturbing moments caught on live TV. In this 2013 live footage, a news reporter is getting ready to go live when an elderly local man wanders into the frame. The two exchange polite greetings when suddenly, the reporter can be seen thoughtful and starts to insistently look over the old man, as if he recognizes him from somewhere. As it turned out, the old man who had just passed them by was the same person on whom they were about to file a missing person live report.
Been looking for you for a while. You hurt or anything?
He had a memory problem and had wandered away in the wilderness overnight, fortunately finding somehow his way back. Voodoo curse. A massive outbreak of cholera claimed the lives of 2,500 people across Haiti in 2010. Many Haitians assumed the outbreak was due to a voodoo curse, and they began attacking voodoo priests in the area. Mobs lynched at least 45 people, while others were beaten, stoned, and hacked with machetes before being set on fire. Controversial cartoon episodes that were banned. In a 2002 banned episode of SpongeBob SquarePants, Mr. Krabs is having a full-on midlife crisis, so he decides to join SpongeBob and Patrick on a night on the town, in order to relate to younger people. Unfortunately for him, SpongeBob and Patrick disappoint his expectations as they consider a daring night out things like going to the library or to the dentist. Full of anger, Mr. Krabs decides to cancel the night and go home, but Patrick tries to change his mind, showing us the reason why the episode was banned.
I guess you're gonna miss the panty raid.
You're talking about girls, right? And you're talking about raiding their dressers for their underpants, right?
Oh yeah.
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Big bad wolf, big bad wolf. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? La, 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 la.
Disturbing situations you don't want to find yourself in. Being trapped in an elevator is a lot of people's worst nightmare. But when it does happen, the last thing you want to deal with is a fear of drowning. These young people found out firsthand what this nightmare is like.
It's just crazy because you only see this in a movie. You don't see someone trapped in an elevator every day with water filling up.
During a massive storm in Nebraska, this group went down to check out the flooding. It seems like going down via elevator was a wrong decision, though, because suddenly, the little box began filling quickly up with water, leaving them on a time limit to when space and air would run out.
Honestly, I would say this is number one, the most scariest thing in my life. Yep. Hands down.
The smiley face mystery. During the 1990s and 2000s, nearly 50 young men were drowned across 11 different states throughout the Midwest. Near the scene of each drowning, detectives found smiley faces spray painted on nearby walls. It is believed the deaths and smiley signatures were the work of a modern serial killer. The smiley face murders are still an unsolved mystery. A YouTube channel that guesses the deaths of the celebrities. On June 15, 2017, a channel named 2020 Vision was opened on YouTube. Its content is represented by 50 clips, all titled with the name of a celebrity who passed away in 2020. On each clip, you can read the exact date of death of the celebrity mentioned in the title. All the videos were uploaded 3 years ago. What happens if you wake up during surgery? In 2008, Donna Penner was booked in for an exploratory laparoscopy at her local hospital. It should have been a routine procedure, but for some reason, the general anesthetic failed. With her body still paralyzed by the anesthetic drugs, Donna was unable to signal that anything was wrong. Over the next 90 minutes, she was forced to feel horrific pain as the doctor made the incisions on her body and moved around her internal organs.
Veronica S. caught something really creepy on camera. But by far, the most chilling footage Veronica has captured is this following clip, in which a friend of hers tries to confront whatever this is.
Are you here?
Are you in the boys' room?
Shut up, don't be serious.
Answers to what happened to you. If something bad happened.
I'm scared to walk in the dark and I'm terrified.
Move that back towards that tree.
I'm following him, why?
I didn't follow him at all.
I'm not even moving it.
You finally moved? This door's stuck.
Get the fuck out of here.
Regardless of what it might be, what matters most is that Veronica and her children are now safe. Hopefully, whatever this is didn't follow them.
After receiving reports about a suspicious item in a passenger's bag, police locked down all the terminals in the Miami airport.
They came in and told everybody to get out. The airport was being evacuated, so we all came outside and we've been sitting here ever since.
The passenger in the bag had already boarded the plane, so the plane was stopped on the tarmac till police could arrive and investigate. The video shows SWAT boarding the plane and having all the passengers put their hands on top of their heads. The suspect was taken by police, along with his bag, and taken off the plane. He was not arrested because there was no evidence to support that he had anything in his bags.
The tapeworm diet. The tapeworm diet is an extremely dangerous diet that works by swallowing a pill that has a tapeworm egg inside. When the egg eventually hatches, the tapeworm will grow inside your body and eat whatever you're eating. This diet is the same thing as a tapeworm infection, which is incredibly dangerous and can cause more harm than good. What will happen in the next 60 seconds? 4,500 McDonald's burgers will be eaten. Your heart will pump around 5 liters of blood. Nike will make around $37,000 while one of its workers in Vietnam will earn around $0.00144. You won't believe what was captured by the camera during this video call. In this 2020 clip, a woman had just woken up and was chatting with a friend, only to have her friend asking if someone was with her.
Is there somebody in your house with you?
The woman, however, had thought she was home alone, so she replayed the video call footage for herself, claiming her heart stopped once she saw a dark figure dashing out behind her. At the same time, she spoke to her friend, completely unaware of the terrifying encounter. These shocking pictures show the how so-called human zoos around the world that kept primitive natives in enclosures as entertainment for Westerners in the early 90s. Millions visited the shocking enclosures every day, feeding the prisoners as they were animals. In 2008, Jamie Fraley disappeared without a trace. She had told a friend that a male friend, whom she did not identify, was taking her to the hospital for the 3rd time in 24 hours. But she never arrived to the hospital and has not been seen since. Her discarded cell phone was found at a nearby intersection, but it did not yield any useful evidence. Jamie's fiancé's father was revealed to have been a person of interest in her disappearance, but no solid evidence was found. In 2015, a prison inmate wrote a letter confessing to her murder, but authorities do not believe it is truthful. Jamie's case remains unsolved and her whereabouts are unknown. Mysterious ancient inventions science still can't explain. The Greek fire. The Greek fire was a deadly proto-napalm fired from ships that would cling to flesh and was impossible to extinguish with water. It was used by the Byzantine Empire. The composition of Greek fire still remains a matter of speculation and debate.
2012, in the city of Manchester, located within the UK, the Castlefield House office building on Liverpool Road had something strange happen on the building's security cameras. The clips show an empty office building coming alive at night around 3 a.m. as chairs and papers fly across the room, computers turn on and off, shadows glide across the walls, and something continuously jiggles a door handle while it all happens, as if whatever it is trying to get out. The full duration of the footage is 5 minutes long, so I can't show you guys everything, but you can find a link to the original video down in the description. For now, take a look at a piece of the footage with me and tell me what you guys believe. This building is in fact dubbed by the public as Manchester's most haunted office block, and it's home to dozens of companies including several finance and PR firms, but it's highly debatable if the footage is real. What do you think? Is this fake?
Self-mummification. Between the 11th and 19th centuries, certain Japanese monks practiced a form of meditation called sokushibutsu. Basically, they would meditate for up to 10 years, slowly quitting eating and drinking until their bodies dried up and they died in a natural form of preservation, often called self-mummification. It is believed that many hundreds of monks tried, but only 24 such mummifications have been discovered to date. How to survive a falling elevator. Theoretically, if you jump at just the right moment as the elevator is hitting the floor, you will slow down the speed of your fall, which would give you a softer landing. But chances that you could make it work are slim. Your best chance is to lie down with the chubbiest side of you on the floor and make sure to protect your head. People disappeared into another dimension. Owen Parfitt. Owen Parfitt lived in the English town of Shepton Mallet and mysteriously disappeared sometime in the 1760s. Parfitt was unable to walk on his own due to disease, so he lived with his sister, who took care of him. One day, Parfitt was sitting outside right by the front door, where he usually sat, and his sister came over to move him. In the chair, she found only the coat that her brother had covered himself with to keep warm. She thought perhaps that a neighbor had moved him inside the house, but when she looked, he was nowhere to be found. All the neighbors said they had not moved Parfitt and had not seen anyone else move him. No one ever saw him again.
This footage may just appear to be a normal man walking around his lawn, however it's actually proof of an insurance and disability fraud case. The man walking in the video had previously claimed to be paralyzed. The man had served in the military and had suffered injuries that had left him allegedly paralyzed.
I'm paralyzed. I have a TBI.
A foundation that was dedicated to housing disabled vets had given the veteran and his family a home for free. After they moved in, neighbors of the veteran started seeing the supposedly paralyzed veteran walking in his backyard. They alerted the foundation about the veteran, and the foundation tried to get in contact with the veteran via phone, but their calls were never answered by the veteran. After one of the neighbors was able to take a video of the veteran walking, the foundation sent an investigator who tried to speak with the veteran, but the veteran stayed in his bedroom and did not come out. A few days after the investigator had visited, the family moved out of the home without telling anyone and disappeared.
This is not an urban legend. The beast of Gévaudan was a large, black-furred, aggressive canine that stalked the French countryside in the 1760s. Unlike most cryptids, the beast is credited with the deaths of over 130 people and countless livestock. In other words, it was real. Its description reads as a canid larger than any dog or wolf, with a rounded muzzle, and a sloping back. It was noted to scream, not howl.
The soap maker. In 1946, Italian serial killer Leonarda Cianciulli was trialed and sentenced to 30 years in prison for the murder of 3 women. To get rid of the bodies, she cut them up and then made them into soap and crunchy tea cakes, which she gave to her visitors. In her confession, she admitted to eating some of the cakes herself. According to Leonarda, these crimes were committed in order to lift a curse. Billionaire founder of CNN, Ted Turner, has a video scheduled to be broadcasted when the end of the world is upon us. It has been ready since 1980. On the screen appears, barring satellite problems, we won't be signing off until the world ends. We'll be on, and we will cover the end of the world. That will be our last event. In 2018, the YouTuber Infinite was followed home by a scary clown on Halloween.
That is the creepiest thing ever. Oh my god.
He was able to capture a video of it from inside his house. In the video, you can clearly see a scary clown standing outside the window of Infinite's house. When the clown sees Infinite filming, he waves, and then disappears around the side of the house.
Is he going to the door? No, I have to lock it.
This is when Infinite gets really scared, as he realizes that his front door is unlocked, and that the clown may be able to get inside his house. He makes it to his front door and locks it just in time. He puts the camera up to the peephole, and you can see the clown standing outside his door, trying to get in.
I was actually getting out of my car, walking up to my apartment, and I get into my house and I just hear the doorknob wiggle. What's that? And I look at my app, my Ring Door app, and I see a guy standing outside, and I just freak out.
Who is that? Get out of here!
Ramirez has no idea who the man is or why he was at her door.
24 years in the basement. In 2008, a woman named Elizabeth Fritzl told police in the town of Amstetten, Austria, that she had been held captive for 24 years by her father, Joseph Fritzl. Fritzl has assaulted and raped her numerous times during her imprisonment inside a concealed area in the basement of the family home. The abuse by Elizabeth's father resulted in the birth of 7 children. Here's what happens if you forget to lock your door at night. Serial killer Richard Chase killed 7 people in a span of a month in Sacramento, California. He was nicknamed the Vampire Killer because he drank his victims' blood and ate the remains. He only broke into houses that were unlocked. If they were locked, he thought it meant he was unwelcome, but if they were not, he saw it as an invitation to enter. What happens if you swallow a seed? In 2009, 28 years old Artyom Sidorkin went to the doctor after coughing up blood and having chest pains. The doctors thought that he had cancer and performed surgery to remove it. Upon removing the cancerous growth, the doctors discovered it was actually a 5 centimeters tree that had been growing inside him. Disturbing facts that will ruin your day, part 24. Ants can form what is called a death spiral when a group of ants is lost and starts following each other's pheromone trail, leading to death by exhaustion. If you took all of the world's spiders and let them out in Netherlands, they would consume the country's population in 3 days. Horned lizards squirt blood from their eyes as a defense mechanism. You can actually fit all the planets in the solar system in the space between the Earth and the Moon.
In this video, 3 thieves tried to think outside the box as they made an attempt to rob a Target store. The video was taken by a surveillance camera, and the footage shows a semi-large fire growing in the women's clothing section of the store. This fire was no accident. The thieves set it in an attempt to distract people while they grabbed items and put them into large bags. However, because Target stores are so large, nobody really noticed the fire until it got very big. One thief stood as a lookout while the other 2 grabbed merchandise and shoved it into large bags. When the fire was finally noticed, the entire store was evacuated, forcing the thieves to have to leave too. They did take the bags with them as they evacuated the store, but the fire didn't do enough damage to stop the surveillance cameras from capturing clear images of their faces.
The real angel of death. Dr. Joseph Mengele, also known as the Angel of Death, used around 500 twins for his painful genetic experiments during World War II. In one of these experiments, Mengele sewed 2 Romani twins together, back to back, in a crude attempt to create conjoined twins. How to survive if you are buried alive. If you are buried in a typical coffin, you will have enough air to survive for an hour or 2. Conserve your air supply, taking deep breaths, and use your shirt to protect you from suffocating on loose earth. Assess the quality of the wood. A chipboard coffin or a recycled paperboard coffin will be relatively easy to break through with your feet. On the other hand, a metal-clad or hardwood coffin will be impossible to pierce. In this case, your only hope is to signal for rescue using a metal object. Have you ever seen this man? If yes, you are one of the thousands across the world who have dreamed this man. According to the This Man website, set up to bring together the people who have dreamed about him, in January 2006 in New York, the patient of a well-known psychiatrist draws the face of a man that has been repeatedly appearing in her dreams. On more than one occasion that man has given her advice on her private life. That portrait lies forgotten on the psychiatrist's desk for a few days until one day, another patient recognizes that face and says that the man has often visited him in his dreams. From January 2006 until today, more than 2,000 people have claimed they have seen this man in their dreams, in many cities all over the world. Every person who dreamed about him swears to has never met the man in real life. What do you think? Have you ever dreamed about him? Mysterious ancient inventions science still can't explain, Part 3. This is a Roman dodecahedron, a small hollow object made of copper alloy which has been cast into a dodecahedral shape. More than 200 years after they were first discovered, researchers are no closer to understanding the origin and function of this mysterious object. Guesses include candle stands, flower stands, surveying instruments, finger ring size gauges, and even gaming dice. What happens if you trust strangers? Suspected murderer Matthew Williams had just been released from prison after served a 5-year prison sentence for a violent attack on his partner. While at a bail hostel, Williams lured a young woman back to his room despite the building's rules against guests. When the staff came to his room to notify Williams of the policy, they found him eating the woman's face off. Bizarre true crime stories. Writer and photographer Christian Bala was caught for murder only after a detective read his novel about a fictional homicide, which contained similarities and details to the real-life murder that only the killer would know about. Authorities found he was also planning to commit another crime to tie in with his second novel. Shocking moments caught at Target stores, Part 1. In this video, a woman films herself talking to a man in a Target store. It's unclear what they are talking about, but then the woman points the camera at him and asks if he remembers talking to her before. The man instantly starts running out of the Target.
Stop that guy! Call the cops! Call the cops on him! Call the cops!
The woman chases him out yelling for people to stop him and call the police. She chases him all the way out to the parking lot, and he gets in his car and leaves. The woman said that she had seen the man in the Target before, and he had asked her super inappropriate questions that made her feel very uncomfortable.
That was what was going through my head, was just, I had to get his face, I had to get something on him to put him out there and catch this guy.
Tsutomu Yamaguchi was preparing to leave Hiroshima on August 6, 1945, when the US dropped a nuke in the city. He drove into a ditch and ended up surviving the blast. After that, he made his way home to Nagasaki, where 3 days later a second nuke exploded, less than 2 miles from his home. He survived, and he is recognized as the only person to survive both of the fatal blasts. In January 1942, during World War II, Walt Disney came to Washington and met with civil defense and chemical warfare officials. Disney wanted to show the progress of a gas mask he was working on. With large glass eyes, a snout, and big round ears, the mask was shaped like Disney's signature character, Mickey Mouse. It was meant to calm terrified children. The Sagamihara Massacre. In July 2016, Satoshi Uematsu used a hammer to break into a care center in Japan. He tied up a staff member, took his keys, and then went from room to room, killing with a knife 19 disabled people. He then turned himself in at the Sukui police station, 2 hours after the incident. He declared, "For them, it made no sense to live, it had to be done for the good of society." Uematsu was sentenced to death by the Yokohama District Court. Worst deaths in history, Part 3. Grigory Rasputin was the mystical advisor in the court of Emperor Nicholas II of Russia. Due to his influence over the royal family, some Russian nobles planned to murder him. He was initially poisoned, but he appeared to be unaffected even after several cups of poisoned wine. Surprised, one of the conspirators shot him once in the chest. Rasputin, still alive, attacked his aggressor before being shot a second time, beaten, wrapped, and dropped into a frozen river, where he eventually died. People disappeared into another dimension. Part 2. James E. Tedford boarded a bus in St. Albans, where he had been visiting family. He was taking the bus to Bennington, where he lived in a retirement home. 14 passengers saw Tedford on the bus, sleeping in his seat, after the last stop before Bennington. What doesn't make sense is that when the bus arrived in Bennington, Tedford was nowhere to be seen. All his belongings were still on the luggage rack. 3 mysterious books no one can explain. Number 3. The Voynich Manuscript. It's a roughly 250-page book written in some kind of code that no one could crack for decades. It's rife with illustrations of various herbs, animals, people, astrology, and maps. Number 2. The Book of Soiga. It's a book about magic. It is written in Latin and talks of demons, astrology, spells, and angels. The actual contents and significance of the tables in the book remain mysterious. Number 1. The Rohank Codex. It's an illustrated manuscript book by an unknown author, with a text in an unknown language and writing system full of cartoonish illustrations depicting various religious and combat scenes. Hamilton Howard, Albert, Fish was an American serial killer, child rapist, and cannibal. Known also as the Brooklyn Vampire, he was used to send letters to his victims' parents to tell them how good their children tasted. In one of these letters he said, "I choked her to death, then cut her in small pieces so I could take my meat to my rooms, cook and eat it." Real bees were used during the making of the 90s horror trilogy, Candyman. Over the course of the 3 films, actor Tony Todd got stung 23 times. He was paid an extra $1,000 for every sting. Was that enough? In 1984, comedian and actor Tommy Cooper died of an heart attack on stage, during an act. The audience continued to laugh and claps as he struggled to breathe, thinking it was part of the show. You can find the entire video of this horrible death on YouTube. Optical illusions that prove your brain sucks. If you stare at the center of the grid, the crazy peripheries begin to fix themselves. Move closer to the screen and you'll see the white shade in the middle explode in luminance. This spiral is actually a series of concentric circles. Run your finger along the spiral and see if you can run the length of it. 3 dark secrets about SpongeBob SquarePants. Patrick is the son of Herb and Margie Starr, and brother of Sam Starr, while Gary is the son of Sluggo and an unrevealed mother. This means that Patrick and Gary are first cousins. Mr. Krabs is the only crab in Bikini Bottom, and the Krusty Krab is shaped exactly like a crab trap. Bikini Bottom is a reference to Bikini Atoll, an American nuclear test site. Don't swipe right. 26-year-old Wariana Wright from New Zealand met Gable Testi on Tinder. A week later, the two met up and went on a date, which led to the couple going to Testi's apartment. Once there, the two got into an argument, and Testi allegedly choked Wright and locked her outside on his balcony. Apparently, Wright tried to escape and fell off the balcony to her death. At the age of 14, George Stinney Jr. was the youngest person ever sentenced to death in the United States. He was executed by electric chair for the murder of 2 white girls. 70 years later, his innocence was proven by a judge in South Carolina. 10-second creepy fact. On May 31, 2014, in Waukesha, Wisconsin, 2 12-year-old girls lured their best friend Peyton Leutner into the woods and stabbed her 19 times, in an attempt to become proxies of the fictional character Slender Man. Disturbing things caught in churches. This 2017 video shows a French church in the middle of a seemingly normal Christian celebration. In the center of the church, we can see 3 priests, one of whom is busy leading the celebration, consecrating the Eucharist. However, as he prays and places his hands over the host, something very strange happens in front of everyone's eyes. The bread seems to inexplicably levitate for a while under the priest's hands.
In this video, a car pulls up to a stop sign and makes a full stop. A man starts to wheel his bike out in front of the car, but then he throws the bike against the front of it and acts as though he's just been hit. Another man is nearby and acts as though he saw the car hit the man with the bike. Suddenly, the car flicks its police lights on. The car is an unmarked vehicle being used by an undercover cop. The officer gets out and arrests both of the scammers. If this isn't an example of insta-karma, then I don't know what is.
Disturbing things caught by Twitch streamers. In this 2020 Twitch clip, 3 Twitch streamers are peacefully walking around New York when suddenly, a random guy in a white sweatshirt approaches them. The stranger claims he wants to be their friend and hang out with them.
No, I just want to hang out. It's gonna help me out.
But the streamers find the interaction very weird and ask him if there's something wrong.
What do you need?
But otherwise, we're just trying to move, man. Yeah, I don't know you. I'm good.
The man doesn't give explanations and asks the streamers if he can at least follow them in silence.
Just trust me, I won't talk to you, I'll just follow you around.
Confused, the streamers continue on their way while the strange guy follows them along. Eventually, the whole situation ends with a very funny statement from the guy.
Oh, wow.
Are these guys bothering you? Are they bothering you?
Oh, no, these are my friends.
Okay, I'm just trying to protect you from the weirdos, you know.
Disturbing things caught by drones. In this 2020 drone footage, a man is piloting his drone down a supposedly hunted road during the daytime, hoping to attract the attention of whatever's out there. Suddenly, a mysterious clown comes out of nowhere walking down the road, and tries to hit the drone with a rock. At this point, the drone flies out of range and the clown takes off hiding in the bushes. After a while, the clown steps out for an ambush and tries to throw another rock at the drone, before vanishing one last time into the bushes. Don't watch these creepy videos if you are at home alone. This scary video shows a girl recording a friend playing the drum in the basement when she suddenly captures something terrifying on camera.
Michelle's getting like really good at
This creepy video shows a woman and her daughter in the living room having a normal time, unaware that something is staring at them from the closet. This clip shows a woman adjusting some Halloween decorations, only to be met with a disturbing ending a few moments later. Disturbing things found in the forest. In this 2020 footage, the YouTuber Alicia the Explorer is inside a rented cabin in the woods filming a video with his boyfriend. All of a sudden, her partner sees something strange passing by the cabin while he's filming Alicia through the window.
Somebody in there with you? The fuck?
A mysterious figure in robes shows up and walks behind Alicia, but when she looks back, the figure just disappears. Disturbing things caught on Uber drivers' cameras. In this 2018 Uber footage, an Uber driver was conducting a seemingly normal day at work, unaware that he was just being made out an unwilling getaway driver by his current passengers. In fact, the passengers had just gone through a bank heist and used the poor Uber driver to flee the scene. Fortunately, the driver became soon aware of the situation and began to livestream the incident on Facebook, which was later used by the FBI for their search. Terrifying things caught at hospitals. This 2020 hospital footage shows an employee inside a hospital's laboratory while minding his own business with the rotary evaporators. Suddenly, one of the jars of distillate inexplicably falls off the table, breaking on the floor. Upon noticing the broken jar, the employee leaves the room to tell his supervisor about what just happened. Not amused with what he's witnessing, the supervisor dismisses the employee, who leaves the room in anger. Shortly after, another employee arrives in the room to clean the spilled distillate when suddenly, another jar appears to inexplicably move on its own towards the end of the table. Disturbing things caught on planes. Thanks to an exclusive GoPro clip, this crash was filmed from within their seats.
What we want to show you is the kind of camera it was shot on. It's called a GoPro camera, and it is a remarkable video. Take a look.
A small passenger plane made its crash landing on the way to Hawaii, landing in the water as everyone got free and hung onto parts of the plane to keep safe. This clip gives an unparalleled point of view of an ongoing plane crash, unlike anything most people will see, without the terror of actually dealing with it. Disturbing things found by YouTubers. In this 2016 video, this YouTuber and his crew are going down into a cave for urban exploration. The guys begin by descending into the large entrance of the cave, and as they proceed deeper and deeper, things began to get colder to the point they can see their breath. Suddenly, right at the end of a very narrow passage, the crew runs into a crying and scared girl in the dark, who doesn't seem to speak English.
She doesn't speak English.
Thankfully, the group brings the lost girl with them and reunites her with her parents. Disturbing moments caught on live TV. In this 2015 live footage, a journalist is reporting live from a bug exhibit at the Museum of National History. He and his crew decide to make the story more interesting by putting a large exotic moth on his vest before the beginning of the broadcast. As the broadcast begins, the bug crawls up the reporter's neck and cozies up next to his ear, seemingly biting him. In reality, the reporter's ear had not been bitten by the moth, but rather used as a deposit for 2 eggs, that were luckily discovered before they hatched. Disturbing things caught by drones. In this 2015 drone footage, several officials in hazmat suits are on the bank of a river in Poland, performing some unknown functions. Suddenly, 4 of them appear to be lifting something pretty heavy from the ground. As they move towards the paramedics with their mysterious finding, a huge fishtail can be seen poking out from behind, suggesting a monstrous sea creature. The hazmat people then return to the water's edge before climbing back up the hill and helping push the stretcher away, out of view. Disturbing things found in the forest. In this 2020 footage, a YouTuber named Lil Goofy is exploring some trails with his friend, when they suddenly notice that they've been followed the whole time by a mysterious man. In the beginning, the man apparently waves hello to them, but a better look reveals that the stalker is waving around something sharp instead.
Is that a knife, bro?
As the guys realize the danger, the man starts chasing them, fortunately without succeeding. Disturbing things found in the forest. In this 2017 footage, a man is in the woods grabbing a video, claiming that he's able to communicate with some sort of mysterious forest creatures who seem to come out only after a rainy day. He sits under a tree and talks for quite some time, and just when it seems like nothing creepy or unsettling is ever going to take place in these woods, this happens.
Oh, there he is. Okay. It's there.
Disturbing things caught in churches. In this 2017 footage, the members of a congregation in Peru are happily singing in their church, unaware that something horrifying is about to happen. During the sermon, in fact, the camera starts recording some locusts moving around on the walls. While at first this doesn't look like a real issue, the locusts soon become thousands of thousands, invading the whole church, and covering every surface. Traumatized Children, Part 10. In this scene from the first Shrek movie, we can see the bear family being trapped by Lord Farquaad's soldiers. Daddy Bear and Mama Bear are trapped together while Baby Bear is in a smaller cage, moaning about the situation. Paying more attention, you will notice that Mama Bear has a pink bow on her head. Remember that for later. Going forward with the movie, Daddy Bear and Baby Bear are finally free, even though Baby Bear is still crying. But where is Mama Bear?
When you're traveling at night, you never really know what you'll come across. It could be dangerous out there, or you could walk into the wrong place. This person walked into a gas station just to notice the attendant was inebriated and doubled over themselves.
Sir? Hello?
It takes a few moments before the other person comes to, groggy and out of it.
Hey. You alright?
Eventually, a little out of it, the attendant checks them out. The rest of the clip shows a man who's not entirely all there, struggling to stay up. Thankfully, they woke him up before he stayed out too long. There were about 1,000 different ways this could have gone wrong.
Thank you very much, my man. Have yourself a good night.
Horrifying humanoid creatures caught on camera. In this creepy video, the man taking the video appears to be searching for his friend in a dark warehouse of some sort. As he is looking, he is surprised when he sees an inhuman face staring at him from behind some objects. The face turns to look at him. The being has a grayish-white complexion and red eyes. Disturbing things found by YouTubers. In this 2017 video, the YouTuber Dom Soto is recording a normal vlog in his bedroom when a noise coming from the door catches his attention. As he approaches the door, a full-grown man in a mask can be seen knocking insistently, saying he's his biggest fan.
But I'm your biggest fan!
Scared, the YouTuber orders the stranger to leave his property immediately, but the man keeps insisting on entering the house. After a while, the man finally leaves, only to come back shortly after, knocking on another door of the house. Disturbing things caught on dashcam. In this 2015 dashcam footage, a man is driving his car in a desolate field in Saudi Arabia when he slowly approaches a weird white figure who's holding a cane. As he moves forward, the figure starts limping into his vehicle and the man shrieks the figure to back up. In the end, the figure keeps walking through the driver as he completely freaks out, and there is no clue on what the figure actually was. Oh no! I bet you don't know the real reason why McDonald's got rid of Ronald McDonald. Ronald McDonald was a huge part of the fast food chain's existence before the 2010s. However, in 2016, a lot of news began to spread regarding sightings of people disguised as scary clowns. The clowns were chasing cars, lurking around neighborhoods at night, and otherwise just being real creeps. This wasn't simply something that was causing a stir on the internet. Major media outlets were reporting on the terrorizing clowns. It was pretty clear that the creepy clowns were more trouble than McDonald's wanted to deal with, and it was at that point that Ronald McDonald began to slowly disappear. Historical facts you will instantly regret learning, Part 6. Mathematician Kurt Gödel developed an obsessive fear of being poisoned and refused to eat food prepared by anyone but his wife, so when she died, he starved himself to death. Convicted serial killer Troy Leon Gregg escaped prison the night before his execution, only to be killed in a bar fight that same night. The reason why fridge doors are magnetic is that when they could be only opened from the outside, children would often get trapped inside with tragic consequences. How to traumatize children. In this scene from the 1985 comedy Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the protagonist Pee-wee is trying to get a ride from someone in order to reach Texas. After a while, a big truck stops right in front of him and Pee-wee jumps in, thanking the driver, an old scary woman. Pee-wee drops a comment about the dark night and the woman replies by saying that,
"On this very night, 10 years ago, I saw the worst accident I ever seen."
Pee-wee looks quite scared of the woman's story and suddenly, this happens.
And when they finally pulled the driver's body, it looked like this.
Disturbing things found in the forest. In this 2009 viral clip, a man and his dog are out for a walk in the Russian woods during a cold winter day. All of a sudden, the dog seems to notice something strange in the distance and starts running in that direction. His owner follows him through the bushes, revealing a little girl in a red coat suspended in midair, as a woman watches her. The man watches for a moment, but as soon as the two become aware of his presence, they run away into the forest. This is what humans would have to look like in order to survive a car crash. The Australian government teamed up with a sculptor, trauma surgeon, and engineer for a road safety campaign and created Graham, who has no neck, knees that bend in all directions, and extra fat to protect the eats, nose, head, and ribs from fatal injury. Disturbing moments caught on live TV. In this 2013 live footage, a news reporter is getting ready to go live when an elderly local man wanders into the frame. The two exchange polite greetings when suddenly, the reporter can be seen thoughtful and starts to insistently look over the old man, as if he recognizes him from somewhere. As it turned out, the old man who had just passed them by was the same person on whom they were about to file a missing person live report.
Been looking for you for a while. You hurt or anything?
He had a memory problem and had wandered away in the wilderness overnight, fortunately finding somehow his way back. Controversial cartoon episodes that were banned. In this 1992 banned episode of Pingu, Pingu and his friends are doing some tricks on skates, when Pingu's girlfriend Pingy comes along. She asks Pingu to go skating with her, but Pingu's friends want him to stay with them. Pingu is not sure what to do, but in the end, he sneaks away to join Pingy. The two start skating together while trying to have their first kiss, but Pingu's friends keep interrupting them. In the end, Pingu and Pingy finally manage to have their first kiss, which is the reason why the episode was banned. In 1923, a jockey named Frank Hayes suffered a fatal heart attack in the midst of a race. His horse ended up crossing the finish line first, with Hayes still on its back, making him the only jockey known to have won a race after death.
A woman named Chrissy is making a vlog at the store, which is typical for her channel. The video is going smoothly when she eventually realizes that she's being stalked by someone she doesn't know. Much like the other stories on this list, Chrissy does her best not to escalate the situation, which is always the safest thing to do in a situation like this. If you try to confront the stranger head-on, you may find yourself in more danger than you could have anticipated. At one point, however, the stranger even attempted to enter Chrissy's vehicle, but was thankfully unable to do so.
You're not getting in my car. You tripping. Nope, you're not getting in my car. I unlocked my door, but you rushed to my passenger. You're not getting in my car. Sorry.
Chrissy was able to go home and get to safety, but was obviously terrified because of the situation she found herself in. Let's hope this terrifying stranger isn't still roaming the streets, looking for his next victim.
How to traumatize children. In a 2006 episode of Mr. Meaty, Parker finds out that food is inexplicably disappearing from his hands right before he can even eat it. Worried about the situation, Josh decides to record a slow-motion video of Parker trying to eat, revealing that an enormous creepy tapeworm is now living inside of his stomach. Luckily, the two friends manage to get the worm outside Parker's stomach and, shortly after, an Australian man comes up, asking to buy the worm for a zoo. The boys agree, they hand it over to him, and then this happens. Disturbing moments caught at McDonald's. This woman, fed up with waiting for her food at a McDonald's, begins trashing the store and throwing things at the staff behind the counter. She starts by simply looking fed up before the clip cuts, and she comes in from off camera. She throws a bucket, containers, wet floor signs, and more. All we can see are other guests trying to get away from her and the employees trying to scramble out of the line of fire. Disturbing things caught on GoPro camera. In this 2015 GoPro footage, a group of explorers is entering what they think is an abandoned building in the middle of nowhere. They look around for a while, searching for interesting items when all of a sudden, two men shouting can be seen approaching the guys. The group tries to explain to them that they thought the building was abandoned, to which the two men respond that it isn't, blocking the group from leaving.
No, this is not abandoned. Do you see the fences? Do you see the property structures around?
Finally, the men let the guys pass, telling them to leave and never come back. Disturbing things caught by YouTubers. In this 2019 video, two girls are in the middle of a general vlog, going to the mall to take some photos. While shopping, they soon realize that a man had been following and watching them all time, staying just a few feet away from them but always within view.
He was looking at you crazy.
The girls try to ditch the man, but unfortunately, they confirm that he's actively going everywhere they go, even going as far as to pretend he's shopping around.
That is crazy. What? He's pretending and he just yeah.
Scared, they decide to leave the stores, and while the guy still follows them, one of the girls loudly records him.
He's literally following us.
Which seems to spook him enough that they're finally able to get away. Disturbing things found by YouTubers. In this 2021 YouTube video, this YouTuber and his friend are vlogging their camping experience in the countryside of Boxhill. Everything proceeds smoothly. They can be seen setting things up for the night, having dinner together, and finally, going to sleep each one on his truck. Suddenly, in the middle of the night, the YouTuber can be seen waking up terrified. Disturbing things caught in churches. This 2017 video shows a French church in the middle of a seemingly normal Christian celebration. In the center of the church, we can see 3 priests, one of whom is busy leading the celebration, consecrating the Eucharist. However, as he prays and places his hands over the host, something very strange happens in front of everyone's eyes. The bread seems to inexplicably levitate for a while under the priest's hands. Disturbing moments caught on doorbell camera. Christina Paul, a retired police officer, was abruptly woken up in the middle of the night by loud banging at her front door. A strange woman, who Christina had never seen before, was attempting to break into her home. In the video, the woman violently throws herself against the window at the front of the house again and again. Finally, the window breaks, and the woman pulls out the screen and tries to enter the home. The police arrive right on time and are able to detain the woman.
Hi. Hi. Do you live here? No, I don't. So why are you banging on the door? Because my friend was there.
Disturbing things found by YouTubers. In this 2008 video, a YouTuber has just returned home when he finds one of his dogs terrified, hiding under the bed. The YouTuber tries in any way to get the dog out from under the bed, but the animal, seemingly disturbed, remains hidden. After 45 minutes, the dog finally emerges for a couple of seconds, just to return terrified one more time under the bed. Unable to calm the dog, the YouTuber starts by looking around, finding that also his cat is making strange movements, pointing his head to the attic door. The man decides to go up to the attic to find out what is going on, when suddenly... Disturbing things caught at Disney parks. Fans were excited to see their favorite superhero family in their live show at Disney's California Adventure Park.
Ladies and gentlemen, who's ready out there to meet their superheroes? Let me hear you scream!
However, it didn't go as planned. When the announcer announces the very first family member, Elastigirl, fans cheered excitedly, but suddenly...
Here for it, everybody! Girl power! Oh no! Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the one and only Elastigirl.
That was supposed to happen.
In this video, a man is alone in the break room at his workplace. He appears to be getting himself a drink. He fills a cup with ice, but instead of drinking it, he pours all the ice on the ground. He looks around to see if anyone is watching, then takes a step onto one of the pieces and very fakely and dramatically slips. He rolls around on the ground acting as though he's in a lot of pain. Even though he checked to make sure he was alone in the break room, the man forgot to check if there was any cameras nearby. The video footage of the incident resulted in him being charged with an attempt to commit insurance fraud. In this video, Chicago police chase a stolen ambulance down the highway. 2 of the ambulance tires pop and the ambulance has to pull over. The driver jumps out with the bag and jumps over a fence separating the 2 sides of the highway. Police tell him to get down, which he does. When police attempt to get over the fence, the man grabs his bag and tries to make a run for it. The police start chasing him down the highway. The thief tries to stop a passing truck and get in, but the truck driver doesn't let him and drives away. Eventually, the police catch up and tackle the perpetrator, pinning him to the ground and arresting him.
Scariest moments caught on GoPro camera. In this 2021 GoPro footage, an urban explorer is entering an abandoned building to make a documentary video. Everything proceeds smoothly when suddenly, as the man is gazing up at the multi-storied complex, glass is heard breaking off to the side. The man decides to go over and investigate, unfortunately finding nothing. As the night grows darker, the man experiences another inexplicable situation. A bunch of torn up sheets can be seen inexplicably falling from an upper floor. Scared, the man looks up, finding a mysterious being dressed in white, who peers down at the cameraman for a moment, pulling out of view shortly after. A woman who survived hanging. In 1724, Margaret Dixon was found guilty of murder and hanged in public. After the hanging, she was pronounced dead and her body was bound for Musselburgh where she was to be buried. However, the journey was interrupted by knocking and banging from within the wooden coffin. The lid was lifted to the side of Maggie, quite alive. The law saw it as God's plan and she was freed to live for a further 40 years. 3 facts that will ruin your day. According to a professor of environmental microbiology at the University of Arizona, 20% of office mugs have traces of fecal bacteria. Scientists claim that the probability of drinking water that has passed through a dinosaur is around 100%. It'll be just a molecule or two, but still, that's dinosaur piss you're drinking. A cell phone can have up to 10 times more bacteria than a toilet seat.
This man's my hero, and if there's a poster child for using what you have to your advantage, this man is that. Watch him pumping gas into his car, relaxed but very aware of his environment. The moment this bus pulls up on him, he's very quick in pulling the nozzle out of his tank and hoses them down quickly even before their door is fully open. Watch as he stays sharp, noticing the guy coming up to his right to get the jump on him and quickly giving that thief a good hosing down with fuel. These guys quickly realize that this man is not easy prey that they thought he was and quickly get away from him. What happens if these boys drive by and open fire immediately after they leave the station? Is karma that fast?
People behave erratically when they think they're stuck somewhere. This man quickly devolves into a panic when he realizes his elevator isn't moving. He tries to pry open the door before turning to the security camera to get someone's attention.
Hello? Hello?
He pulls his high visibility jacket off, trying again to hit the call button and pry the door open. However, when this continues to fail, he begins beating on the door, the walls, and anywhere he can get his hands on. Eventually, the lights cut off, and we can see him struggling, trying to hit the call button, now armed with his flashlight but still stuck. Enough stubbornness and strength, and the man can eventually pry a hole open from the elevator doors. But unfortunately, his escape was not caught on camera.
Just as they were getting to sleep, a couple got an alert from their doorbell camera.
I immediately jumped up because it was really scary and looked at the ring, and there was a man attempting to take our screen off and go into our window.
They opened the app to see that a man was attempting to break in through their front window. They watched him struggle with the screen of their window before giving up and leaving. They were able to give a full description of the man to the police. They believed that he wanted to get in quick and was discouraged into leaving because he couldn't figure out how to get the screen off of the window. Disney World is known for being relatively kid-friendly. However, this animatronic malfunction had parents wanting to cover their children's eyes. In the video, a Munchkin animatronic starts to malfunction during a show. Due to the way he's jerking around, it looks like he's doing something inappropriate to himself. The host of the show tries to distract the audience from the Munchkin, but unfortunately, this audience will never unsee what they saw during the show.
Is he dancing over there a little bit still? Yeah. Oh, fun. Okay. As I said, folks, please remain seated at this time. We are not. Please remain seated.
If you're not dealing with one kind of crazy, messed up scenario in food service, it's another. While it was unattended, this woman squeezed through the window. It begins with a cup and a drink but quickly escalates. She's bold, at this point, climbing fully into the store to grab whatever she wants. With her shirt pulled up over her head, she thinks she's home free, but fumbles at the last moment, dropping a box of foodstuffs before she's able to shove it out the window. This proves to be only a moment's hold up, as she picks it up quickly and hands it to an accomplice waiting for her thieving out in the car. Disturbing things caught by Twitch streamers. In this 2019 clip, this Twitch streamer is walking through the streets of Japan when he notices something weird. As the streamer is recording, he notices a creepy guy wearing a mask who seems to be following him. Scared, the streamer turns to one side of the street to see if the creepy masked guy is actually following him, confirming his fears.
Wait, he turned. Do I run?
The streamer panics and starts to run forward, but as he notices that the guy is still following him, he begins to shout at him.
Why did you do that?
As a surprise, the guy claims to be a fan and that he was just trying to talk to the streamer. Disturbing things caught on dashcam. In this 2014 dashcam footage, a man is driving his car in the middle of the night through a very dark road. The driver proceeds down the highway with everything going on as expected when suddenly, an odd and suspicious roadblock can be seen ahead, only consisting of 2 traffic cones and a single parked car. A mysterious man then exits the car and attempts to flag down the driver. Distrustful, the driver slows down but quickly speeds up again, as he notices the unknown man attempting to reach something in his pocket. The real dark reason why Disney created Frozen. If you think about the words Disney and Frozen, you would probably think about the famous Disney movie featuring the 2 sisters Anna and Elsa. But what if that's exactly what Disney wants you to think about? For many years now, there have been rumors that Mr. Walt Disney actually had himself cryogenically frozen right before he passed away. While this has been disproven, some actually think that the movie Frozen was given its name so that when the words Disney and Frozen are googled together, only the popular 2013 movie comes up, and the creepy rumors about Walt are buried forever. Disturbing neighbors caught on camera. This video starts with what seems to be your average suburban morning. Suddenly, you see a woman come into view and throw all of her force into jamming a pickaxe into the front door of this unsuspecting house. She then leaves after a while. Facts that will warp your perception of time, Part 3. We landed on the moon before the first commercially successful rolling suitcase was invented. When the first inmates were imprisoned in Auschwitz, Richard and Maurice MacDonald opened the very first McDonald's. Queen Elizabeth is older than the sliced bread. I bet you don't know that Avril Lavigne in reality died in 2003. A few years ago, Avril Lavigne's fans began to insist that the singer actually died after the release of her 2003 album Let Go. Since then, she has been apparently replaced by a body double named Melissa Vandella in order for the record label to keep making money. The double was supposedly taught to sing Avril's songs, perform live, and also record all of her future work. People supported the theory due to evident changes in her appearance between 2003 and 2011, subliminal messages in her Under My Skin album, and a photo shoot in which she has the name Melissa written on her hand. A man in a graveyard caught something horrifying on camera. In this video, a man takes a camera with him into a cemetery at night because he heard the sound of a young girl crying from the graveyard near his house. As he enters the cemetery, he is visibly scared, and keeps telling himself that he is an idiot for putting himself in this situation.
No seas idiota. ¿Qué es esto, güey? No está malo que con la niña llorando en un cementerio a las 12 de la noche.
He spots the girl and points the camera at her.
Amiga! Niña! Ay, no seas imbécil. ¡Venga, güey! ¡Venga, güey! Por favor!
Why gangs leave you feeling uncertain? Are they criminals or are they the good guys? In this video, they're definitely not. Watch as they ride into this gas station looking all menacing in their helmets in huge numbers. They're not wearing matching gear, which makes it difficult to identify what group they may belong to. Some of them quickly rush into the station store and grab things off the shelves. One of the bikes keels over and the rider will need a hand to raise it while all hell was breaking loose around them. They appear to be without a leader, just running around like headless chickens. There's no violence, but these bikers certainly set out to overrun this gas station, and in that, they succeeded completely. But one still wonders what else they could have had in mind. This next video comes from a series of Snapchat stories uploaded by a woman named Mackenzie Smalley. She can be seen walking outside in the middle of the day in Old Town Scottsdale, probably just trying to enjoy her afternoon and take in the fresh air. However, that's made impossible because just behind her, a creepy man in a pickup truck is following her, turning down every corner she is. At one point in the video, she kindly tells the man, "I need you to stop following me," but it's obvious that he won't obey her wishes.
I need you to stop following me right now. I don't know you. I don't know you. Bye!
She then says that at one point, she even needed to break into a full-on sprint in order to get away from the eerie being. Luckily, the woman was able to escape from the man, but she's expressed her frustration that people who saw the incident unfold didn't do anything to help her.
And the most frustrating part about all of that was I was looking at all the other cars that were driving by, like looking, like saying, like, help, like this, like giving them like the eye, and I didn't do anything.
Disturbing things caught at Disney parks. During the Carnival of Stars parade at Disneyland Hong Kong, the character Shelley May stops dancing with the other characters in the parade. She starts drooping over like she's going to fall, but no one seems to notice. When she finally does fall, a character attendant calls over other attendants and they carry her away from the parade. The video is actually very concerning, because none of the character attendants removed the character's mask to see if she was okay. During a Disneyland parade, Disney fans were surprised to see Maleficent's float on fire. At first, it's hard to tell if it's part of the show or not. The float is in the shape of a large dragon. The top of the dragon's head was completely on fire, but it actually looked really cool and like it could be part of the show. When burning pieces of the float started falling to the ground, the parade watchers realized that the fire was not a part of the show. A park attendant tries to put out the flames using a small fire extinguisher, but it doesn't do anything to minimize the flames. Finally, they get a large fire extinguisher and are able to put out the fire.
Being absent-minded is one thing. This is a whole other thing altogether. The woman in her red Volkswagen must have forgotten her car was hooked up to a gas pump as she went to drive away, yanking the pump along with her. The man filming follows the woman, documenting as she picks the pump up and walks across the gas station. According to the YouTuber, the attendant explained this happens all the time. He explains in his caption that she was texting and not paying attention, driving off in a hurry as she yanked the pump off.
Horrifying humanoid creatures caught on camera. In this video, taken from a CCTV camera in a bar in Singapore, two customers sit at the bar ordering drinks. As they put in their drink order with the bartender, a chair behind them starts rocking back and forth by itself. The men take no notice. The chair rocks until it falls over, and the crash alerts the two men. As they turn their backs to pick up the chair, small, human-like creature sprints across the bar behind them and then disappears. It's unclear what the being is, and the men in the video do not notice it because they had their backs turned to pick up the chair. In 2011, a Swedish man named Richard Handel was arrested for trying to split atoms in his kitchen. He was charged for unauthorized possession of nuclear material, but he said he was only doing it as a hobby and he just wanted to see if it was possible to split atoms at home. A fine of 13,600 Swedish kroner was imposed. How to traumatize children. In this scene from the 1986 movie Labyrinth, the protagonist Sarah is crossing the fiery forest when she encounters some weird creatures that seem to be interested in examining the young girl. In fact, these puppets have the ability to detach their body parts and soon attempt to remove Sarah's head in order to verify if she's like them. The girls soon become scared, as the creatures start to perform a disturbing dance with a weird song, ripping off their own heads and tearing out their own eyeballs just for eating them shortly after.
No one wants to deal with a guard dog, right? But what if I told you that a massive loyal dog helped put a burglar behind bars? One bright and sunny afternoon, a gentleman enters their home, unwavering and confident in his actions. He doesn't stop to ensure anyone's around. He simply walks up and acts like he owns the place. Dubai, a massive 122-pound Great Dane, greets him with a friendly bark and prowls around him, seemingly satiated by the man's social advances. Little did the intruder know that the loyal dog was just waiting for a cue from his owner to attack. The dog springs into action like a superhero as the owner catches the man and screams. He goes after the burglar, biting and even going for his face. The man's escape was hasty and messy as he tried his best to escape the attacking Great Dane. The intruder never expected the dog to turn on him, but with one cue from his owner, the loyal dog knew something was wrong. The footage of the attack helped track down the burglar, who was later convicted of second-degree burglary. It's all thanks to one massive freakout by man's best friend.
These two creepy videos will definitely ruin your day. This first scary video shows a car driving through the desert when some animals appear in the area. As the camera zooms in, a mysterious and disturbing creature can be seen moving to the left in an unnatural and strange way. This second creepy video shows a man during a day in the woods when suddenly, he comes across a strange and mysterious figure amongst the foliage. At first, the creature gazes up in the tree and, after a bird tweets, seems startled and moves quickly away. The zombie-like Uber drivers. A couple of years ago, some Uber drivers in China changed their profile pictures to creepy, zombie-like faces. In this way, potential passengers would cancel the ride they had just booked, thus earning the driver the cancellation fee. Disturbing facts that will ruin your day, Part 25. Greenland sharks live at least 400 years and don't reach sexual maturity until they are 150 years old. More than 250,000 people in the United States die every year because of medical mistakes. According to the Bible, this is what angels actually look like. There are over 30 million profiles of dead people on Facebook and around 10,000 more each day. Disturbing things found in the forest. In this 2016 video, a man is hiking in the Berkeley-Jackson County Park as he usually does, when he comes across an old campsite. He keeps walking in the woods when suddenly, he notices something very odd and out of place. All around the campsite are multiple different missing person posters taped onto the trees. As if that wasn't disturbing enough, the posters themselves were completely real, featuring real missing people across different US states.
They're all different. They're all fucking different. Every single one.
Bailey B works at an old theater that is said to be haunted. Although Bailey loves his job, there's something about it he wishes he could change. He often works at night, and he doesn't like this. For some reason, whenever Bailey's on stage, he can't help but feel like there's someone there.
No one in here. Hello? Okay.
Bailey was in total shock and was trying to process what he'd seen. Now, it could be that someone had broken in and decided to seat themselves on the balcony. But given the history of this place, which has had numerous paranormal occurrences, Bailey can't shake the thought of this being a ghostly encounter. But if anything, Bailey can rest assured that he isn't losing his mind, as what he captured on camera shows that someone or something was actually watching him.
How to traumatize children. This 1994 episode of Thomas the Tank Engine tells the story of three engines called Duke, Stuart, and Falcon. Duke was the oldest of the three and decided it was his responsibility to keep the younger engines in order. In fact, the old engine soon warned the other two that if they did not behave well, they would end up abandoned in a shed. Stuart and Falcon began behaving better and all three remained friends for many years. However, this all came to an end one day when their railway closed down and as a consequence, the engines were all put up for sale. Stuart and Falcon were bought, but no one wanted to buy an old engine like Duke. For this reason, Duke went to sleep in a shed, waiting for the day he would be able to run again, but as time went by, trees and hedges grew over the shed, literally burying him alive. Dr. Karl Tanzler had fallen in love with a woman named Elena, who was one of his patients. When she died, he snuck into her tomb and brought her corpse home. He kept her in the house for 7 years straight as the body rotted away, and he propped her up like a mannequin. He was only caught when someone saw him dancing with the corpse in front of an open window. How to traumatize children. In this scene from the 1984 kids movie The Never-Ending Story, Atreyu and his beloved horse Artax are crossing the swamp of sadness, looking for the advisor Morla the Ancient One. While walking through a muddy passageway, Artax the horse suddenly stops, not wanting to go any further. At first, Atreyu thinks that his friend is just tired, but he soon realizes that Artax is actually slowly sinking to his death into the swamp. He tries in vain to help his friend to get out of the mud while crying out in pain, showing kids a very traumatizing moment in the movie. Disturbing moments caught at parking lots. While parking backward in a car park, this woman makes a dangerous mistake. She backs up, slowly at first, seemingly mistakenly punching the reverse. Suddenly, the car can speed through the wall barriers, pushing through and leaving them dangling over the side. It's a few levels up, but the person in the car clearly misjudged how quickly they were moving. Thankfully, people come to their rescue, and the car is stopped in time to pull the woman out of her car. Disturbing things caught at Disney parks. In this video, Mike Wazowski, from Monsters Inc., comes out on stage to talk to the audience during one of Disney's Christmas shows. As he's talking to the audience, he swings his arms around energetically. Then, one of his arms breaks in half. Disturbing things found in the forest. In this 2016 footage, two friends are walking in a forest at night when they come across some weird discarded opera masks laying on top of an old dirty clothes pile. They decide to continue on their path, but a short distance away, they find another opera mask hanging up in the trees. Confused, they start talking about what to do next, but suddenly, one of the guys notices something really disturbing hunched over in front of them.
Oh shit! What the?
Disturbing things found in the forest. In this 2021 footage, two men are in the middle of an exploration into a desolate grassy area outdoors at night. They look around for a while with their torches until they seem to find the right spot, where they place a strange slab on the ground. They start to use the mysterious slab when suddenly, one of the men notices a strange red light in the distance. As the camera zooms in, a disturbing figure with red glowing eyes can be seen in the distance staring at the explorers without moving. Disturbing things caught by Twitch streamers. Elgato has these creepy encounters often, due to her stream's open and candid nature. While dressed up as a Wonder Woman for what seems like a convention in Japan, she encounters a few unpleasant individuals before being chased by a man with a katana.
Why is he following us? Let's go this way. Oh god.
They get away, but not before having to seemingly run for their lives for a while, and streaming it all to her followers in the meantime. Disturbing rituals caught on camera. In this 2013 footage, Pope Francis approaches as usual to the sick people who have attended the Mass to bless them. Suddenly, a priest introduces him to a boy, asserting that he needs an urgent exorcism. The Pope's face turns serious, extends his hands upon him and prays intensely, as the boy seems to be immediately affected by the Pope's prayer. Disturbing stalkers caught on camera. This scary video was uploaded to YouTube by CBS Sacramento in 2021 and shows an interview with a woman who is terribly worried about her family's safety because of an alleged stalker who has been appearing at their door for weeks. The man in question has been caught on camera several times by the doorbell security camera. In each shot, the mysterious man can be seen knocking insistently, saying he is from social services and that he needs to get into the house to do a checkup.
Social services. Yeah, my social services.
You need to leave.
Disturbing things caught on CCTV. Seeing a clip of a murderer before their crime is one thing, but this man was caught on CCTV like nothing was about to happen. He and a friend were out, chatting and joking together as if nothing had happened. They go out, run to the store, walk back home, and then moments later, CCTV catch Sean Buell as he runs from the crime scene, carrying the object he used against his friend. Luckily, thanks to pinpointed CCTV, he was caught and arrested shortly after that. Disturbing rituals caught on camera. In this 2021 footage, two friends are in the middle of a cemetery exploration at night in Mexico. They start by observing the tombstones when suddenly, one of them notices something odd in the distance. As the camera focuses, the guys notice a group of people wearing cloaks around a big fire, performing some kind of strange ritual. The explorers keep observing the ritual, but unfortunately for them, one of the men notices their presence, and the whole congregation begins to chase the explorers through the cemetery. Disturbing things caught by drones. In this 2015 drone footage, a man is flying his drone through a desolate land when he comes across a wild animal in the bush. He follows its path and soon finds himself hovering above a den of rattlesnakes. The man keeps observing their natural habitat when suddenly, one of the snakes feels intimidated enough to react, dislodging the camera attached to the drone. In the beginning, the man seems to be confused about what to do in order to get his camera back, but after a while, he wisely chooses to go in with a hockey stick and finally manages to pull the camera to safety. Disturbing Easter eggs in video games. In the 1994 classic Doom 2, you can find something downright disturbing in the last boss fight of the game. In fact, before shooting the monster and finishing the level, you can run straight below the boss's head to find a hidden passage, leading to a secret room. Inside this secret hole, you will find the disturbing reproduction of John Romero's head, the game designer. The head alone is totally harmless, but it will disturbingly roar in pain when damaged. Disturbing moments caught on live TV. Former President Bush was having a press conference in Baghdad, when suddenly, during a Jordanian television broadcast, two journalists were discussing, but then Pope Francis was waving to the crowd when this happened. Disturbing things caught by drones. This 2014 drone footage shows the desolate area of the Chernobyl power station, where the disaster took place. As the drone turns around, an animal that could be either a deer or a moose can be seen crossing the road and hiding in the bushes. While at first the video could appear innocent, slowing down the video speed will reveal that the animal has no head, likely as a result of the radiation. In January 2013, 21-year-old student Elisa Lam went missing while visiting Los Angeles. She was found almost a month later dead in a water tower at the Cecil Hotel, where she was staying. In her final moments alive, she was filmed getting on and off the elevator, talking to herself, and seemingly hiding from someone. No one knows what happened to her. Disturbing deleted scenes from kids' movies that were luckily cut. A deleted scene from the 2013 movie Frozen would have reportedly followed two Arendelle castle guards on their way to visit Elsa's residence on the North Mountain to find Princess Anna. However, they are discovered by Elsa, who starts performing a kind of tortuous interrogation of the two soldiers for information about her sister.
Evening, gentlemen. Why are you on my mountain?
Apparently, the scene would have even involved Elsa trapping the soldiers in ice until their death.
Yes, Your Majesty!
Never underestimate the power of snow and ice.
Disturbing rituals caught on camera. In August 2016, a video showing a supposedly occult ritual became popular over the internet. The video was recorded inside the grounds of CERN, a European physics research organization, and shows several people dressed in black cloaks surrounding a statue of the Hindu deity Shiva, apparently performing a mysterious evocation. Fortunately, the ritual video resulted in a hoax, with a CERN spokesperson stating that no one was actually harmed and that the mock ritual was performed without any official permission. Wrinkles the Clown is a curmudgeonly homeless man from Florida who dresses as a clown and hires himself out to parents to scare kids for a few $100s. He offers to come to their homes and frighten misbehaving children until they get the message. Disturbing things caught by Twitch streamers. This 2020 Twitch clip shows the Australian streamer Rob D while filming his broken phone in the middle of the road in Japan. Suddenly, he notices a woman acting weirdly while walking with a man on her side. It's soon clear that the girl is actually in trouble as she starts walking towards the streamer, apparently looking for a way to escape the man. The streamer approaches the girl and introduces himself to the stranger as a friend of hers to make him go away.
He's my friend.
Hi. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Good to see you.
The creepy guy asks him where he is from and starts laughing disconcertingly, and seconds later he leaves. Disturbing fan encounters with YouTubers. In this 2018 video, the YouTuber Chili was recording some regularly scheduled spring break content, when the YouTuber and her team got to know a fan who showed up to give them a gift.
So his name is Lance, and look what he and now look what he gave us.
At about the 4.5-minute mark, the fan makes a break with Chili's purse and runs out the door.
Wait, that's my purse!
Luckily, they're quick enough to catch him and get her purse back as one of them tackles the man to the ground on the lawn.
Why would you do that?
It's a prank. It's not even April 4th. It's an April 9th prank.
Disturbing moments caught on live TV. In this 2015 live footage, a journalist is reporting live from a bug exhibit at the Museum of National History. He and his crew decide to make the story more interesting by putting a large exotic moth on his vest before the beginning of the broadcast. As the broadcast begins, the bug crawls up the reporter's neck and cozies up next to his ear, seemingly biting him. In reality, the reporter's ear had not been bitten by the moth, but rather used as a deposit for 2 eggs, that were luckily discovered before they hatched.
This video comes from a celebrity individual who was a part of a reality TV show hosted somewhere in Mexico. It shows a man exploring a cemetery around 1:30 a.m., searching for a ghost that is rumored to have been spotted there on numerous occasions. He gets his wish. Perhaps the creepiest part about the footage is the girl's scream while he's running away.
These are cases that will make you sick, part 3. This is the chilling case of Lisa Montgomery. Lisa Montgomery constantly lied about being pregnant and having miscarriages. And in 2004, she became friends with an actual pregnant woman whose name was Bobby Stinnett. Lisa then showed up to her house, where she proceeded to strangle her to death with a rope, and then cut open her belly and take her baby out. Bobby Stinnett laid there as she bled out and died, and Lisa fled the scene with her baby. Luckily, thanks to the forensics and the investigators working on this case, they found Lisa and she confessed to the murder and the abduction of the baby. She was put on death row and was recently executed by lethal injection on January 13th, 2021.
Disturbing moments caught at gas stations. This video seems to start like any other late-night convenience store. This woman may have been freaking out before, but she was uncomfortable being filmed by the man with his camera.
Question me. Never wait outside for your dumb ass.
She gets up in his face, asking if he's gotten enough.
Do you have enough? Do you have enough?
She tosses the phone out of his hand, claiming she could sue him. He's quick to pick it up, but she doesn't stop. She continues yelling at him from across the store, calling him names and saying they couldn't do anything to her.
I don't give a you done this ass. They're gonna lock you up for lying.
She clearly believes herself untouchable because she doesn't rush out, taking her time to continue insulting the man, who, to note, doesn't react to any of her baiting behavior before finally exiting. Scary Karen's ruining other people's day.
It seems this Karen loses her headphones as she decides to follow a woman in the airport and claims she's stolen them.
You stole my headphones.
She starts the video by screaming, quickly gaining security attention but deciding to take things into her own hands. The Karen in question starts trying to blockade the accused woman, stopping her from moving forward, saying she's stolen items.
She stole my headphones. If you don't stop her, I'm gonna call the police.
Still, the woman will not stop moving nor entertain the claims. Quickly realizing this is a losing battle, the woman pulls her phone out and starts recording the accused. She begins to get physical, hitting the woman, and is very surprised when the woman doesn't just let her do it. She hits her back and Karen quickly escapes in the other direction, seemingly embarrassed or just very surprised. Facing the consequences of her behavior? Doesn't sound like Karen. This piece of propaganda was made to defame the US.
This is how Americans live today, drinking coffee made from snow and living in tents and buying guns to kill each other.
North Koreans are brainwashed to believe that the United States is evil and out to destroy their country. They also want North Koreans to believe that living conditions in the United States is worse than in North Korea. This video shows Americans, homeless and sleeping in the streets in the middle of winter.
These people lie huddled together with their dead friends in blue body bags, drinking coffee cups full of local snow.
It shows them using outdated technology and that the streets are full of protests. They try to make sure that if their citizens think that living in North Korea is bad, living in the United States is worse.
Scary stalkers caught on camera. This Twitch streamer was peacefully walking around while live streaming, when suddenly...
This guy, whoa, what are you doing? He just started following me.
This guy had just noticed someone peeping at him from his window, but when he went downstairs to check, these guys were hanging out in a park when something strange started to follow them.
Bitch. Get out of this bush.
Scary stalkers caught on camera. This home security footage was captured in the middle of the night and shows a man dressed in a Michael Myers costume walking right up to a house's front door. The man can be seen holding what looks like a hammer and wastes no time in trying to open the door. After realizing it's locked, the man simply walks off, but only to return 3 more times to again try to open the door, even attempting to use his hammer to assist him in getting the door open. Luckily, after being unsuccessful, the house owners would never see this supposed home intruder again. Scary moments caught inside taxis. In this video, taken from a CCTV camera, people can be seen hailing taxicabs. One man hails a cab, but when the cab pulls up and the man starts to walk towards the car, a shadow appears behind him. The shadow follows the man as he gets in the cab, and disappears into the cab with him. People who failed at being criminals. In December 2001, Richard Reed boarded a flight from Paris to Miami, wearing a homemade shoe bomb. During the flight, Reed had big troubles getting the shoe bomb's fuse to light. When the fuse finally sparked, the bomb didn't detonate because Reed's foot was too sweaty. By then, flight attendants and passengers had noticed Reed's suspicious activity and tied him to his seat. He was later pled guilty to terrorism charges and was sentenced to life in prison. Random disturbing facts. Until very recently it was believed that babies couldn't feel pain, so often had operations done on them without any anesthesia. Being buried alive was pretty common in the 18th century. In the 1800s a lot of dentures were made using the teeth of dead soldiers. Horrifying things caught while camping. This man in blue walks on screen and crouches down behind the logs before taking off into the tree line. As he walks back, he takes a lot of breaks before using a stick to aid him in walking. It's unclear who this person is, how old they are, or what exactly happened. It seems, at one point, that he's an older man, as he struggles to walk, similar to how an older person might. However, that doesn't last for long. When he rolls down the hill, he manages to not only get up after wrapping himself up, but he does so without using his arms at all.
By the time you see it, the car chase has already lasted quite a long time, and if you look closely you'll find that the car is only running on 2 tires. Both on the right side are gone. It's just rims grinding on the asphalt. It's a stolen car which the police are trying to recover. Watch as the car goes through 2 fences before crashing into a patrol car before it continues on its way. The police stay close to the stolen car without rushing to cut him off, keeping just a few steps behind. The police stay on the car for a long time through increase in speed and decrease speed. Watch towards the end as a police car performs a pit maneuver, forcing the car to lose traction. It recovers and the thief is able to accelerate once more, driving now in the opposite direction. The officers perform a total of 5 pit maneuvers before they surround the car and force the drivers out. What a chase.
Is this the beginning of a new world conflict? During the last few weeks, Russia's military has been building up troops and equipment along the Ukraine border, causing NATO's concern of a possible invasion. Even though Moscow has denied planning an attack at the moment, the State Department ordered the families of all American personnel at the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine to leave the country. At the moment, President Biden has ruled out military intervention to support Ukraine, and instead has employed intense diplomacy and rallied Western allies to support what he promises will be painful sanctions against Russia if it dares to invade Ukraine. But depending on how the situation plays out, he has admitted he could have some troubles keeping the situation under control. Scariest moments caught on GoPro camera. In this 2015 GoPro footage, a man is seating on a small wooden while sliding down a zipline, when something unexpected happens. A big knot in the cable can be seen in the middle of the line, making it impossible for the zipper's carabiner to pass over the lump. After several moments of struggle, the zipper decides that his best option is to detach himself from the system and plummet to the ground with his parachute. In 2006, an inmate named Anthony Ray Stockelman who was imprisoned at an Indiana prison was forcibly tattooed across his forehead with the words, "Katie's Revenge," by another inmate after they found out that he was serving time for molesting and murdering a 10-year-old girl named Katie. Random disturbing facts, Part 2. You can't die of old age, only from diseases brought on by age. After death, the enzymes from your digestive system begin to digest your body. You can get stuck on a plain toilet if you flush while sitting down and your body forms a perfect seal on the vacuum toilet. A human head remains conscious for a couple of seconds after being decapitated. Facts that will warp your perception of time. From the time Pluto was discovered until the time Pluto lost its planet status, it didn't even complete one orbit around the sun. When the Egyptians were building the pyramids, mammoths were still roaming the earth. The September 11th attacks are closer to the fall of the Berlin Wall than to the present day. Disturbing near-death moments caught on camera. This guy had just jumped into the water when suddenly 2 women had just walked past this building when this happened. This man was peacefully sitting on a wall facing the sea when out of the blue. In 1996, a man named Ricardo Lopez was so obsessed with the Icelandic singer Björk, that he detailed his plan to murder her and kill himself, in his video diary. His reasoning was that they would be together in heaven. He mailed Björk a book that was actually a sulfuric acid bomb. He then recorded his suicide, and a couple of days later the police discovered his corpse and his video diary. They quickly intercepted the package and saved Björk from serious injury or death. Look closely at this CCTV footage. In this shop in downtown Oregon City, in a surveillance video captured in August, something eerie happened. Keep your eyes on the glass tip jar as it begins to move on a level surface. There is no slant, no reason for the jar to move on its own, but it is moving until it falls off the level surface. Shortly after this event, another event is recorded. Watch as the pens inside the pen cup begin to move as though they're being reorganized and placed in better order. Look closely now and you'll see the scissors move around a bit. Several years ago, the building which is now a shop was a pharmacy, and one of the employees thinks the pharmacist, who is said to be a stickler for order, rearranges things when they are not in order. Disturbing things caught at Disney parks. During Disney's Aladdin show, something unexpected happens.
Ali!
This man was simply trying to do his job delivering food as Karen decided she would not let him in. He tries to show her he's got the food to deliver and has a code to get in, but she continues to stand in his way and refuses to let him through.
You know you're not. Okay, so you're not gonna let me in to deliver this food. I have the number.
She eventually gets up in his camera, sticking her tongue out and making faces while insulting him. She tries several times to distract him and just turns to more insults when it doesn't work.
Can you not touch me?
No, can you not film me?
Okay.
When you get packages delivered to your house, there's nothing worse than a porch pirate coming and grabbing them. The woman thought she was being slick, grabbing boxes off of someone's front porch and running. However, the getaway driver speeds off too quickly and leaves the thief all alone. The homeowner goes running out after her, tackling the woman to the ground, who begins to scream and cry for help, despite being caught in the act.